Alliance raids, bugs, Masteries 2.0, and other things going on in the world of Marvel Contest of Champions. Hello everybody, welcome to your Wednesday edition of the MCN. So we did a little video yesterday, you might have seen it, where we talked about an announcement or update from Kabam and how they plan to deal with AI. One of the big things to note is that next month in the March release, we'll be seeing improvements to the AI and also further updates further down the line to AI in general, hopefully putting it into the game a better situation of play. Look, it's been several years since AI has been properly dealt with, and of course going into the last couple of months, the last 4 months, it's been something that has been slightly worked in to improve, but hasn't been. So look, there's still more work to be done, and I think a lot of us would really hope that Kabam, deliver on this, but we'll only really find out in next month's update, which is about 2 weeks away. So there you go. So next up, just a bit of a clarification. If you didn't know, Maestro is not magnetized. Or is he? So, as a lot of you know, if you're facing off against him in Alliance raids, which, to be honest, some of the AI with this is not particularly great, and especially if you look to get spanked by an SP1, you're going to degen to Doom. Not Dr. Doom, but that's where we're at the moment. We're on the third one, which is this Maestro. But you can see it says there, because this is the unclassified version, there is no hashtag that says #metal. If you go to your champions, and you are like myself, have the aforementioned champion from slogging out in Necropolis, and go to the respective tags, you will see that he is #metal right there. So it just clarifies if anybody is going in, if you're going into Alliance raids, ladies and gentlemen, and you are seeing and you're like, oh, I should be able to use. No, that's just a bit of clarification, because obviously there are some people in the community that look. It'd be like there's two Maestros. One has #metal, the other one doesn't. Should be not. So it kind of just gives you a bit of an idea if you didn't know already. Now let's go into the situation of Alliance raids. We've got a bit of a big set of coverage with lots of different threads open. So this information is relevant as I'm recording this at 10:45 PM UK time on the Tuesday 20th of February. So of course everything is subject to change. By the time I've been waiting as long as I possibly could to see if Kabam would answer against some of these particular threads, but I'd say at the moment they're probably firefighting and having to kind of like go from different projects to get stuff resolved. So there are a few things mentioned on the Trello board at the moment. One of those, which has been entered in by Kabam Mike today, I think this was. AQ boss raids, after using the undo feature in AQ, sometimes users are forced to traverse the same path. We'll come back to that one in a minute. There is another one as well on one of the different ones. Thanos, there we go, there's another one. I don't know if this is still lingering though, because this looks like Thanos in AQ raid lacks any callouts. I don't know if that's something that's a fix coming soon, but I think there's some other stuff as well. I think at this point we've got to go down, we've got to look back to the threads. So let's go with the one that's been mentioned in the quite prolifically in the forums, and which we mentioned yesterday, where you are bolted to the wrong path, and that is there's a gif of it, but in a nutshell, I'll just read it before we get to what Kabam is saying. So when I clearly choose the assault path, it sends me straight to Vanguard. No worries, I'll undo. I must have somehow hit Vanguard. Undo again. Tap assault, and it sends me right back to Vanguard. So it's like you're on you can't choose the correct path, so it affects a lot of different players. It's unknown whether or not this is something that's still affecting. I've definitely seen things from people to say that this is being effective. I just can't believe this wasn't fixed when it first reported. Some people were saying as well it was something in previous months. Same problem with my alliance, myself and another on the right side path. I choose assault and went to tactician. He chose tactician. I went to Vanguard. Undo last move. Took me back to the middle. But every time I hit assault, it still goes to tactician. And as of yesterday, it doesn't seem like we had an answer. Same, my alliance is waiting and time's burning up but being stuck at the same spot. Yeah, like people aren't gaining anything. Like they're kind of like they're without any kind of resource, and also gains. Me and the lads, me, Slay, and Splashon have kind of pushed further than I think some other people are, but they're waiting for champions to be released, or were waiting for champions to be released by Alliance Wars, defense and attack or whatever, in order to kind of go and participate. So look, we're kind of like ahead of a lot of other people in Alliance without spending all of our, well, no, we have spent all of our kind of materials, all of our resources, and we're not going to be spending any units or anything like that. We're waiting for the reset, but we're out in front to try and help out the Alliance as much as possible. But for others, they're kind of like, they're stagnated. They can't move anywhere, and that's sad. You know, that's really kind of like disappointing for it. You know, and people, they obviously want to make gains. They would love to make gains. So command support say the following. And it's take the assault role as you were routed to the tactician role despite using the undo button. That's basically the kind of description to command. We were made aware of possible issues with the undo button not working in Alliance raids and confirmed this was a bug. Although graphically it does, the player will be forced to retake the same path. Any additional details about this bug could be announced on our forums, our blog, and your in-game mail, making those great resources blah 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 blah. So yeah, like Kabam are aware that it is a bug. How they compensate against this, they got a lot of compensation that needs to be kind of given out this month, and well, yeah, there is. We've got the side quest keys issue that's got to be compensated, incursions bug that's got to be compensated. You know, Winter of Woe should have, if we think about it, that should have been compensated. It sort of is with that extra point, but that should have been given some compensation. And this here, that should have been given some, that will definitely have to be given compensation. So that's 4 bits of compensation now we should be up to on this one. And yeah, any compensation will be given to all affected players via in-game methods like mail. But yeah, it definitely needs to be compensated on the matter. This doesn't look good. We continue on with Alliance raids based coverage and chat on the matter because, of course, there's still this suddenly we all do no damage kind of issue that still boiled over from, what was it, Tuesday into Wednesday? No, Monday into Tuesday and into Wednesday. So someone was saying here on February 19th, so we tried again at 5:46 PM EST and we're not able to do any damage. And then, yeah, like Kaban was saying, it's been fixed, but then to other players, it's not. So it's like some people say it's fixed and some saying it's not. So it's just trying to find out like where we are on this. So freshest information over the last 24 hours, it seems to be fixed. It's working with critical armor buff at least. I'm using that at the moment. That works fine. I don't think it is. Some summoners are not experiencing this bug. Maybe that's why. And that's the thing. Maybe it's device specific. Possibly. I still seem to be a problem for some players, including myself. I am doing all I should be doing with a rank 2 7-star Venom and not doing any really damage. Already gonna throw so much revives to try and support the team. I joined early and pick up my buff early, so I wonder if there's still any effective. Like, this is bad. Like, by the way, I'm not disputing stuff. That's the problem we had when we did the coverage on Monday, was that at the time some people were saying it's fixed, others weren't, and we were like, I was like, okay, it's great, it's fixed. But then it's like, no, it's not fixed. Which we did say in the video. And yeah, like, updates-wise, Crit Crusher Storm here with absolutely no firepower. It's very embarrassing to let down my fellow mates. That's the sad thing. It's like other people are affected by it. And kind of like when you let down other people. This is why I hate when I die in Alliance Wars. Because I just think, oh... You know, one I think it was like when we totaled it, we were 9 deaths from our alliance being in Platinum 3 versus Platinum 3 versus Platinum 4 where we finished. And you just kind of go like, oh, if I didn't die quite as much in that season, we would have got it. And yet that's the problem, isn't it? You kind of feel like, oh, I don't want to let people down. I was talking about this game giving people stress. It's not good, is it? Anyway, the kind of freshest update, and by the way, as I said, there might be more updates on this, and we might have to do like a follow-up on this later on today. Apologies for the late reply, but I have been trying to investigate this and getting nowhere. Could those of you who have not provided information on which champions you're using, who you're fighting, and what boost you chose, please do that. While we've seen a few reports here of issues, I have not been able to confirm them in game, and we haven't received any customer service tickets with more information that we can use to investigate. In a very rare sense, Kabam are encouraging you to do support tickets. So if you haven't done already, please do a support ticket if you're one of these people affected, because they need more info. If Friday does that, and obviously in the thread, I'll put a link to the description if you want to check out the thread and kind of respond back. I'm using Champ, Venom, Roll, Tactician, Raids, Super Buffs. Maestro and Thanos can only be about 2.5% max. 2-3 times using Vanguard. Ultron, crit armor boost, so that's different boosts. Multiple times garbage damage. Please least respond. That's out of context. You should read above. How about looking into people who are still stuck on furs? No, I think there's a lot of buffs. Kabam are firefighting at this moment in time with a actual constructive comment here. Please have the team look into the striker interaction with Maestro, and they got to start at damage. They're Chris. They got to start at damage what they're doing. But there's loads of stuff I think with raids, especially with that Maestro interaction, is not great. But you know what I mean, my friends. You know what I mean. There's a lot to get done. A lot Kabam have got to investigate, and things ain't good with. Things ain't good with Alliance raids at the moment. We'll find as many updates as possible in the situation. It's probably going to be an ongoing thing. And of course, this is like, as I said, there's kind of 4 instances of compensation that have got to be given out this month, which is just crazy when you think about it. But anyway. And move on, we must do to Masteries 2.0. As a lot of you know, that was something that was mentioned back with the roadmaps. Nowadays, we don't hear anything about roadmaps. We hear some things about like what will be dropping in the future, which is great, and I like that the Kabam do that. But the reason Kabam don't do roadmaps is that a lot of people just kind of go like, oh, you said you were going to... I mean, I'm guilty of saying Kabam should have done something. But I only speak from it as a point of passion of going, look, well, the player base wanted Mastery loadouts. They wanted Masteries 2.0. And it's still something that hasn't come to fruition after about 4 years. And this is the thing. AI, Masteries, and decent content are probably 3 main things. There's probably some more to that players wanted more than ever. And of course, we got things like relics. We've got content that doesn't exactly hit well, and we've got a few other things that maybe weren't really in the scheme of what players were looking to see from the game, moving into what is the 10th anniversary. So of course, it's something we'd love to see in the future. And Command Mike's obviously response to questions about where is it. Implementation we had for Mastery Loadouts or Mastery Update or whatever you want to call it never came into fruition because we were never happy with how they turned out. Their goals for them, not just for players, but also for in-game. Which is obviously I find very weird about Mastery Loadouts because it's in Battlegrounds. That's the only thing I've always found a bit weird about not seeing Mastery Loadouts elsewhere. We haven't stopped working on improvements to Masteries and have something in the works. Oh, I can't quite talk about it yet. I specifically told the team that we won't talk about it until the moment I've seen it and played it and know that it's coming out, because I have seen the issues that kicking and can down the road. Kicking that can down the road that has caused for our players. So as soon as I know it's ready and coming your way, I'll be first to scream it from the rooftops. Fantastic. And maybe that's something like Stat Focus and how Stat Focus worked out. There's loads of things that have been done in game, but haven't really been like, if you could. Here's the thing, I would love to have pre-built mastery sets you can switch between different champions and make them individually have that mastery. Like you go in with Suicide Masteries with Warlock, but then it's like you can go in with a different mastery preset for the likes of let's think of something that's kind of like spongy. Or something like Doctor Doom, which quintessentially you probably wouldn't have Suicide Masteries with as a champion, but have those individual setups. Similar to other games. Other games have that individual champion mastery setup. Name that one game. I'm not saying that because people get triggered. One more thing, I want to clear up something. Nothing in the roadmap's ever promised. If you want us to be able to continue to give you looks into the future, we need our players to understand that roadmaps can always change, and that's the nature of game development. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But of course, there are things that, as we said, there's things the player base want to see. They tell Kabam they want to see, and then we get things that the player base doesn't want to see, and then we're told that, you know, there's an alignment between the community and the game development. And I'm not saying build the game just for the community. It's just like, well, look, there's stuff fundamentally the community would absolutely love to see, and would be, you know, you'll be in good graces with the community if you did it, but we just don't get it. So it's sad at times, but again, we move on. And we end the show on arena predictions for Sentinel and for Vox. Now, if we follow the theme of champions going low in arenas recently, which is a big tail off, like it's really a big tail off. Featured 6-star Sentinel, I'll go with 50 mil. I don't think it's going to go too high. It's a featured champion. Honestly, with how I think the Mega Sentinel arena went recently, I think you could see that about 40 mil. I think there's going to be some shockers there. Sentinel's a 5-star, 20 mil. Again, could be a bit lower than that, which is ridiculous for a featured, but those times are changing. Vox as a 6-star in the basic, 20 mil. Could be a little bit lower, could be a little bit higher, but I think lower. 12 mil for the 5-star version, and that's been my predictions. That has been the show. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll give you some updates whenever we know some stuff. It's Winter of Woe Fight 2 today. Oh, who are we going to use? Any case, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.